Welcome everyone to the next episode of the Drunken Dice podcast. As always, I'm your host Alex with my lovely co-hosts Jim and Peter. How is everyone doing tonight? And what are y'all drinking?
I am going with a straight rye whiskey from Middle West Spirits.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was brought to me by my cousin, and I haven't opened it in 2 years, so I figured it was time.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Peter?
I have Glenfiddich Scotch, 12 year. So
Very nice.
Wonderful.
I am drinking a birthday present of mine. It is the Calumet Farm 14-year-old bourbon. The batch size of this was 19 barrels.
wow.
It is very good. It is lovely smooth. It's only 96.2 proof, so it's not even that bad. It is a great one to drink. It's very special. I had a drink with Marianne on my birthday after she gave it to me, and I'm going to have one here because I wanted to share it with everyone.
Okay. Perfect. I almost picked up I think it's a moonshine for today. It's called Conjugal Visit, and it was $16.
Oh.
I was like, do I do it? Do I? And I was like,
No.
not this week, because
That's
I will also be periodically having some Gatorade,
fair.
because I need to stay hydrated,
Oh, hydration.
and I don't
Like
do
it's
enough of that.
important or something.
Yeah, I sweat a lot at work, and I don't drink enough fluids. So
That's understandable and fair.
yeah, I thought so.
All right. So starting out, what's your homebrew this week?
Well, first, I wanted to talk about one thing that wasn't homebrew, or wasn't D&D related.
Okay.
Amazon just bought, was it
MGM.
Warner Brothers or MGM?
MGM.
Sorry, yeah, MGM for like $8.45 billion.
Interesting.
Right? So like that Amazon Prime Video might look pretty damn good coming up when they introduce like those TV and movies that they just acquired.
That's true.
I'm pretty excited for it, guys. I barely watch Amazon Prime as it is, but I'm pretty excited. I mean, I did watch Invincible on there. You guys, you should watch it.
Invincible, like isn't that a
The
Disney movie?
No.
No, it's a cartoon. It's a meme right now.
Oh, yes.
Think
that
about
one.
it.
Okay,
Also-
that one. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
May not be definitely not a watch with Amelia, and may not be a watch with your parents, because it's bloody, violent.
Like you wouldn't watch The Boys with them.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, barely a spoiler. It's like episode 1. You see one guy crush another guy's like skull in. You see like the eyeball pop out, and like it's pretty gruesome. So, just a heads up about that. It is not a children's cartoon, even though it's a cartoon. But
In my defense, Invincible is also a Disney movie.
is it?
Yeah, it's the one where what is it? Mark Wahlberg is the guy, the Vince Papale who tries out for the Eagles, and he makes the team.
Oh yeah, I remember
one.
that one.
Okay.
Okay,
So
So-
we were both right.
we were both right. But yeah,
Which is, I'm like, why is that on Amazon? That's new.
Yeah.
But I think Netflix is gonna die.
do you think so?
I mean, they're gonna run out of things that aren't Netflix originals to stream.
I mean, maybe, but like, one, how much Netflix original stuff is like in the works? Because they could mainly go to that.
Yeah.
Plus, like, I don't know of any other streaming site that's doing like the stand-up specials and all of that. That's great.
True.
Um,
They're gonna have to stop raising their prices though.
They're going to have
People will
to
be
separate
done
the
with that.
price.
The stand-up. If they pivoted to a lot of comedy, and like that's what they were going for, a lot of stand-up and other stuff like that, that could be really good.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, they're already they are what Comedy Central and like Showtime was for specials now. Really.
What if like Viacom bought Netflix, so they had to have Comedy Central and Netflix all in like one thing?
That might not be bad. I mean,
I could see it happen.
At the same time,
I don't want it to happen.
I don't want it to happen. I would rather Netflix acquires Viacom, or at least exclusive rights to that stuff. Like that's all they really need to do is get,
or at least Comedy Central,
big brands as like exclusive rights to it, and then they're as competitive with the other ones. Because Warner Brothers, I was thinking Warner Brothers because that was Discovery Plus signed a deal with Warner Brothers, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yeah, with like all the AT&T crap and all that jazz. It was a big freaking deal. Not in importance, but in money and stuff.
Yeah. Your mess.
So, yeah, I just saw that today. I was like, oh, that's kind of big. I mean, like I have many of the streaming services as it is. So I'm like, oh, great, more stuff for me to watch and a reason to actually look at Amazon Prime Video.
Speaking of, I think it was Discovery Plus. We were watching. It's a show called Prehistoric. It's one of the ones. It goes from like different cities, and it goes back through like the years on the. Basically, like the one we watched was New York City, and how like mastodons would be walking down Fifth Avenue, or different how it would go back as you go farther back.
Sure.
But we kept laughing at it the entire time because the only ever segue they did was travel back 12,000 years, travel back 65 million years. They only ever used travel back. And
when you got one that works, you don't mess with perfection, man. Now travel back 5 minutes ago, and let's talk about the. I'm kidding. No. I feel like that needs to be every transition now. Travel back to this new time. And it's that like janky early 2000s CGI for like the dinosaurs and different things, which I absolutely love. The Walking with Dinosaurs CGI, which I need a streaming service to pick that up because that was one of my favorite like documentaries, whatever you want to classify that as a kid. Yeah.
I love that so much, and I want an easy place to watch it.
See, I want like the it was like Life After Humans or whatever, where they just like took a bunch of stuff and they're like, so if humans just disappeared forever,
I saw that.
Here's what would happen. And I was like,
they did LA and they talked about all the swimming pools would become like mosquito infested and you'd get like these insect colonies. Yeah.
Like in New York, it was like, yeah, pretty much like if the cats and stuff like escape to get food through the early stuff, like if they survive long enough, like basically all the floors in the skyscrapers would be like independent like ecosystems for them until the buildings fell. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I think cats would thrive in New York because of all the rats.
Yeah, like the stray ones, but it was talking like specifically about like the ones locked in people's apartments that you know, if people just disappeared and didn't open the doors for them, could they escape?
Fair enough. As someone who has two cats, I think they'd find a way. They're crafty little bastards.
Possibly, but also some of them are lazy assholes and probably would.
True. Also true. One would be like, I could either eat or go to sleep forever. I'm sleeping. That's easy.
Yeah. That's less work. I'm just gonna do that.
It's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah, way easier. Wonderful. We got off on a nice little tangent there. So now to D&D. Starting off with a screen art.
One more tangent. Other birthday present. Other dice related since we are Drunken dice. Yep, I got even more dice now. Metal. And look at the symbols there.
What? It's still focused on your face, not the dice. So can you just tell us what it is?
Oh, they're just like they're actual dragons surrounding the number
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that's
on each one,
That's solid.
and they're metal, they're heavy, it's really awesome.
That's cool.
Now the question is, have you ascended from Dice Goblin to Dice Dragon?
I believe I'm still a goblin.
Okay, because we on our own little private thing, we do have our officially to be a Dice Dragon, you have to own at least one set of precious or semi-precious metal dice, so silver, gold, platinum, bronze, copper, zinc, stainless steel, etc. How is stainless steel a precious or semi-precious? Anyway, one set of precious or semi-precious gemstone dice, at least 100 regular sets of 7 resin dice, bone, wood, metal, or other material polyhedral die. Also have to own at least one set of novelty die, which I do know you own.
Yes.
And at least one oversized d20 larger than your closed fist.
That I don't have.
Okay, so you're still a dice goblin.
I'm a dice wormling at this point because I got a bunch of the other ones. Not quite a dragon. We're going up.
It is a sharp jump from goblin to dragon. There's no in between.
We're Pokemon evolution here. We're not actual evolution. We're Pokemon evolution.
Pretty much. Fantastic. So
is there
Screen
another level past Dice Dragon?
No, because then your horde just grows bigger. Alex is awkwardly. Oh, there's a cat.
Yeah,
a cat.
being dumb. Since we were talking about cats before, I figured that was like perfect.
So anyway, Screen Rant article: fake D&D rules dungeon masters should consider using, and I'd like your guys' take on this.
Oh boy,
Screen Rant. Oh. God.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
DM rolls death saving throws. Basically, the DM just secretly rolls death saving throws. The player has no clue whether they have successes or fails. None of the party do. It's just the DM.
I mean,
they believe it will
increase the tension.
Increase the dramatic tension, and the group now has to choose amongst that whether to prioritize reviving a downed party member or to like continue combat where they wouldn't have that necessary tension after just one throw if they know it's a success.
I understand that, but seeing as how player death is a very, very personal and possibly emotional thing, taking away a player's agency, really? Taking away a player's agency in that, I can see just causing a lot of conflict at the table.
Yeah.
Like, I understand where they're coming from with that.
Yeah.
And it would be something that would need to be predetermined, and I would say it needs to not be a campaign that is, like, very heavily player death possible.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. My other issue, because I have been a part of some D&D horror stories, we've all read or listened to plenty of D&D horror stories.
Yeah.
There are so many bad DMs out there that I don't like your character. I don't like your character.
Yes.
No, sorry, you failed all 3. Oh no, sorry, you rolled a nat 1. Now you're dead.
Yeah, that was my concern when you said
I can see that too.
Because it's all in secret, so there's no way to check that.
Yeah. If you wanted the DM to roll it in public and just the DM rolls it, okay, fine, but then there's no reason to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So I personally think it's a stupid idea that should be burned with fire.
Yeah, that's one, unless you personally know the DM who doesn't do that. But even I feel like there's so much variable for conflict in there that I think it would just cause a lot of problems at the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that anyway.
Yeah, I think it's more hassle than it's worth. And then naturally, because they're a mainstream source as Screen Rant, they're like, but also Critical Role has a special way to revive people, and you should use that. Shut up. Like, we're not all Matt Mercers. We're not all like. They're special death rules.
What? And because it's a broadcast, like it is almost a syndicated like TV show or radio show at this point. Like it's
Pretty much.
It's much more than a game of D&D. Critical Role is its own special thing, and I'm very happy it exists, especially since it got a lot of people into D&D.
Yeah.
But it's its own thing. It's not your average game at a table between people.
Yeah. Absolutely. The next one. Spell slots for exhaustion level. Now, he did not specify all of the details about this role because it's screen rant, so you can only get surface and not actual mechanics. But basically saying that if you run out of spell slots, spellcasters, you might want to consider allowing them to take levels of exhaustion to use spells after they've run out of spell slots. So you've run out of spell slots, and you to this, all right, fine. As Wish does, if you decide to use, spells after casting Wish, there's a penalty. You could get hurt. You could die. You could never cast Wish again. You know, all these things. Basically, like, you've run out of spell slots, and you just want to cast one last powerful spell to win while sacrificing yourself. You could take all 6 levels of exhaustion to destroy this thing with like a last meteor swarm or whatever, and just be done with it, and have that be your sacrificing moment. But I don't know if I would really use it, honestly.
I think this one has potential, specifically for maybe like a sorcerer class feature, because of just how they cast magic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a wizard doing this. I don't see a bard doing this.
Yeah.
Artificers, no. Clerics, no. Paladins, no. But
definitely not warlocks, because all they're doing is casting a cantrip anyway. So
yeah, but I could see it with a sorcerer, specifically maybe like a wild magic sorcerer, or any of this, because just how they innately cast magic.
Yeah,
I could see it. It would have to be something that it needs. But that one, I think, actually has some potential.
Yeah, it's not the worst. Like, I'm not totally appalled by it.
No.
But at the same time, if you have run through all of your spell slots, especially, like, I'm assuming you would save this towards an end of a campaign and not middle or beginning. Like, where you need something more powerful than your cantrip. I get it.
Yeah.
But I think you can make that an exception to a rule as opposed to, like, just the rule in general. Because who's going to take levels of exhaustion at, like, first level when you only have, like, 2 spell slots so you can cast, like, Witch Bolt again?
I would say if this was used, you would determine up to what level it could be used, and then you would roll a percentile die that, say, you get to choose up to a certain number, and the percentile die is level 6, this killed you, and the other one would be like, say, you get 3 levels of exhaustion. It's not just a 1 level exhaustion for 1 spell slot.
Right.
Like, this is only supposed to be used in dire situations, with it being well known that this could kill you. That any use of this could kill you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I still don't know if I would ever really use it.
No, but I feel like it would be a good say it's everyone else is down and you're going, all right, I can save them. I need to put all my life force energy into this one thing.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Or, it's been a big fight and all this. I'm putting all of my life force into power word kill.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like I said, I'm not opposed to it. It's just like,
it needs somewhere. I think.
Is there a lot of use for this? Because honestly, I don't even think wizards would use this that much, because
I wouldn't say
after short breaks, you have arcane recovery.
Yep.
Like you gain access to some spell slots again. Like clerics might use this. They don't get any of that.
And they get to use spell slots as cantrips. At high levels, they get to pick certain spells that they are now cantrips.
Yeah. Like, I think cleric is probably the closest to doing this also. Because, like, they don't get a way to get back any spell slots, even on short rests. Also, being clerics, lots of clerics play good characters. Good characters have a tendency in these types of adventures to sacrifice themselves for others.
I could see them, like, they're trying to channel their deity's energy through them. Like, they're becoming a vessel or whatever they're doing. And
like a conduit for their their deity's power, which burns them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to think of a percentile die of it either really, really, really hurts you or it just straight up kills you.
Yeah. Now, this next one, how they have it, I will poison this well, is dumb as shit. And I don't mind saying it. Crits do max weapon damage. Now, before you're like, yeah, max weapon damage, and then the extra die you roll. I've seen it. That makes sense.
Catch here.
There's a catch. Because this says if a character is wielding a great axe, they'd hit for 12 points plus proficiency and other bonuses. So you would not get those additional die unless you're like the barbarian who gains one on a crit at a certain level. You just great axe crit, you get 12.
What's the fun in that?
Also, you're essentially weakening a crit. Because even if you roll, you have a chance doubling the die to roll 24 damage, but you're saying like, nope, you get 12.
Yeah, that.
Which is why I said like, because we've seen those times you crit and you roll like 1s and 2s, and you're like, I could do this with a normal attack. But so like, I've seen it, and I don't mind the rule where the normal, like, your regular damage is maxed. So on a great axe, you get the 12 plus the 2 additional ones from the crit that you roll.
Yeah,
so you're automatically doing more than you would as it for a crit. That makes sense. But just the flat, like, you just get crit for your weapon damage. Like, you just get max for your weapon damage. I'm like, no.
This is honestly one I just prefer. It actually is rules as written. You crit, you get to double your die.
Yep. I prefer that too. Which is, I only do that. I've played in a game where it was max on your normal die and then roll. And for that, I was like, oh, it makes sense because you're critting and it eliminates the possibility of like rolling less than you normally roll, even though you crit. But this, without those extra die that you get for critting, like, that's just dumb.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. It's
dumb. Yeah. That was probably the most anger-inducing one out of them. Yeah, that's it. That's all he put.
Just those.
Like,
that's it.
Those rules, and they're not, for the most part, they're not even rules that like most people are going to be like, these are great rules. We should add these.
A lot of them don't have a lot of effect about anything.
Also true. They are also fairly.
Most of them are very. Besides the crit, most of them are very niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
but we should consider them in our games, according to Screen Rant, which is why we don't listen to Screen Rant.
No.
They have been weighed, they have been measured, and they have been found lacking.
Wanting.
Oh, I know the quote. I just changed it.
We had both. We had the correct one with me and you, and then Peter. I should point the right way. Peter doing his own thing over there.
Well, remember last time you made a comment about how we shouldn't directly quote things.
Did we?
Somebody did.
Does not sound like something I would say.
Did I say that?
And you can quote me on that.
I don't think we should quote that.
That does not sound like something I would say.
That's exactly what he would say. He's a liar.
No, that definitely.
One of us always tells the truth. One of us always tells a lie. Can you figure out which one it is? It's a common riddle.
Yeah, the pointing is what I have a problem with.
Well, yeah, because I was showing for the audience that watches on YouTube. So Dom, who I was referring to as each.
Mhm.
Anyway, moving on to other wonderful topics, we have a homebrewed feat.
Oh boy.
Oh, Joel.
This is for monks only.
Okay.
So it's called Quicken Strikes.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's gonna get bad.
I can only see where this is going.
It only has 2 features on here. It increases your strength or dexterity by 2. Yep. Yeah. That look is right.
It's a feat?
As a feat, increases strength or dex by 2. Also, you no longer need to use a bonus action to use Flurry of Blows, but you may only use this feature once per attack.
So every time.
Okay, good. So you can't just go, all right, flurry of blows, another key point, flurry of blows, another key point, flurry of blows. Just keep going.
Correct. However, I will point out that using a variant human to get this at level 3, I believe, you get 4 attacks if you use a key point, because you get your normal attack with a monk weapon or unarmed strike, then you get a bonus action attack for an unarmed strike, and then your flurry of blows for 2 more.
Yeah.
So at level 3, you're attacking 4 times.
And it's what, D8s? Because if you're using a staff, that's the best thing.
If you're using a staff it's a D8 for the first hit, like a quarter staff, and then the other ones would be unarmed strikes.
Yeah. It's still
Which is still, at that level though, it's still ridiculous.
Yeah, that's...
Also, if you
plus
decide
whatever your modifier is.
Plus the modifier, which has just been increased by 1 because you just added 2 to that.
So
as opposed to every other
feat. It would be 4 at that point, I'm going to guess. So you probably have an 18 in your primary index. Let's just say index because it's going to be dex.
Yeah, because you're going to, if you're doing like,
God.
I mean, not, yeah, if you're making an optimized character and you're using a standard array, you're putting the 15 in dex, and then you're using your racial bonus to increase it by at least 1, sometimes 2, so it could already be 17, then add 2 more, 19.
Yeah.
At level 1, assuming you are, well,
no, it would be 18 because you're variant human.
It'd be 18 because you're variant human. If you're a more optimized level 4, you are at 19.
Mm-hmm.
Which is obnoxious. On standard, with a standard array, that's obnoxious. With rolls, I find that happens more often, but also you can do 3 attacks plus a stunning strike. Once you get stunning strike, because your stunning strike would be your bonus action, and your flurry of blows would not use a bonus action. Basically, you can use multiple of these special key things that use your bonus action to do in the same round. You can do 3 attacks and disengage, because one of them is allows you to take a disengage as a bonus action while using a key point.
Jeez.
It's so overpowered.
That's crazy overpowered.
It is so overpowered.
Here's the thing. Take away that +2 on that.
Yeah.
Make it a +1.
Yeah, like every other feat that adds to a stat.
And put a level requirement, kind of like an Eldritch Invocation. Because at higher level, monks are grossly underpowered compared to most other classes.
Sure. Well,
So-
most martial characters do get a bit underpowered compared to the spellcasters in the party at high levels.
Because if you made this like a level 14 feat, or whatever the ability score is near that time, whatever it is.
12.
I'd, I'd be more okay with that as long as it's a +1 edition, not the +2.
Yeah, and seeing as most campaigns go roughly to like 12-ish
Mm-hmm.
within a level or two of that, you're still getting it for like end of campaign things. But you can't just blow your way through every combat encounter early game with that.
Honestly, that cast like using Flurry of Blows seems like a capstone feature for a monk class that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Starting at level 17, you no longer need to use a bonus action for Flurry of Blows. You become so quick, you're able
Yeah.
to combine many strikes where mere mortals would only be able to do one.
that really does feel like a really high level capstone ability.
Yeah, and it would be an awesome one too.
It would be.
We all know there's some really bad capstone abilities out there. Like there's
Yep.
some really piss poor ones. That one would be really cool.
That would be really cool. But as a feat that you can take at any point in
Oh
time,
God, no! That's
no,
stupid overpowered.
this whole thing is just overpowered. I did see in the comments he was taking some of this criticism, did understand dropping it from a +2 to a +1 was obviously like a change that needed to be made because a +2 is ridiculous. No other feat does that.
Especially for a
Why
feat
wouldn't they
that you can
take it?
take at level 1.
Because
Yeah.
it takes away the trade-off of taking a feat.
Yeah,
Like that's the entire thing of taking a feat is you don't get the ability score upgrade.
yeah.
But if it gives you
But-
like an ability score upgrade, then
Like there's some feats that are like, oh, you should definitely take these feats. This becomes if you're a monk and you don't take this feat at whatever first level you can, you're just an idiot.
Like Magic Initiate Warlock to get Hex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That one's good. Cast Hex, and then you get an extra D6 damage.
Yeah.
With
good.
like each attack.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a...
that's an extra 3d6 when you use Flurry of Blows. At 4th level. Or first, if you did that with a Brain Human. Yeah. I mean, realistically, if you take away the second part, like I don't see a way to fix the second part without level capping it, or anything like that. Like as a generally obtainable feat, like to monks, there's no way to fix that.
Like I kind of want to make a monk subclass now that's the capstone feature. I
That
think that'd be an awesome capstone feature.
and then me and Peter will rate your homebrew. I will not be generous.
Obviously not.
I mean, I'm not that generous with these, so why would we?
You're not just generous. Let's just cap it where it goes.
Yeah. So the next one is a magic item.
Okay.
And now
boy.
this is, he did say this is a tribute to some person's work.
Okay.
It's Dr. Kentaro Mura, whatever, creator of Berserk, inspiration for the games like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, who passed away earlier this month.
Okay, interesting.
That's
Yeah, he passed away earlier this month, and so this was his
cool.
his tribute to him was this were these two items. So there is a great sword named Fiend Slayer. So it is a legendary +1/+3 great sword. It'll explain why there's a difference there. It's special. It has reach, heavy, two-handed, and requires attunement.
Okay.
It requires an 18 strength to wield it
Okay.
because of its sheer size.
Okay.
However, due to its sheer weight and size, when it's swung, the blade deals an additional d6 damage, making a total of 3d6 slashing. And you gain
Okay.
+1 bonus to attacks and damage rolls made with the greatsword. If you hit a celestial, fey, or fiend, it is a +3 bonus, and they take an additional 1d6 force damage.
Okay.
So that's why it's a +1/+3 because
Yeah.
the specific classes. It also comes with a whirlwind tech. As an action, the wielder spins recklessly using the weight of their weapon to aid in the momentum, attacking multiple enemies in a destructive spiral pattern. Every creature within 10 feet, a 10-foot radius of the wielder makes a DC 18 dex saving throw or suffers 46 slashing damage. If a creature in the area are celestial or fiends, they get to add the bonus for hitting that type of creature. You can use this feature a number of times equal to half of your proficiency bonus, rounded down, regaining all uses after a long rest.
This has a lot of potential.
It does.
I like that you put the strength cap
Mm-hmm.
on there, so that's a really good one. I you either need something that whirlwind attack. If you left yourself open to disadvantage on attacks against you when you use it, I think that would be more balanced. Because if you're spinning around like a madman, I feel like you would be now open to attacks because you're showing every enemy your back essentially.
Essentially, but also like everyone within a 10-foot radius of you is trying to get out of the way of the blade.
Yeah.
So I'm unsure about that. I don't.
They had me until the whirlwind thing because a greatsword that now has reach, I think that's awesome. I think that's a really cool thing to give to a greatsword. That now you got something that's really big. And extra damage, d6, okay. There's magic weapons that give you charges of wish, so like an extra d6, oh no. There's a lot of potential to that if like you just scalped the little things off of it, I think it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I love the flavor of it, and I love that they were putting thoughts into some balance.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean I like that they capped that whirlwind at like half your proficiency bonus, rounded down.
That was also good.
So like it's not like every turn I'm just going to run into the middle of as many people as possible and just whirlwind attack. Like no, you have to
if it were
pick
me,
and choose when you can do that.
If it were me, I would say it's a once per long rest ability. Or at least once per short rest.
You know, I don't mind it how it is because what your proficiency bonus is 5 or 6 at max at the highest level, so that's uses. 2 or 3. So you're
it's about the same.
You're already not like greatly benefiting from a crap ton of uses.
40, that's a lot of damage.
46 is a lot
of damage.
Yeah. And it's a really high dex saving throw. I would drop the dex saving because it's a DC 18 dex saving throw. I would drop that at maybe a 15.
I say 15 would be fair.
Because 18 just seems way too high for something that has such a large reach. And also apparently does not matter about your stats.
Yeah, I feel like your stats should be a part of that.
I mean, like, you're pretty much just hanging on for the ride for this one.
Yeah.
Because look, you're swinging around that huge amount of weight. You're pretty much just going for a ride on it.
Whipping around Mjolnir, and you're just kind of going along with it. Mjolnir is the one in charge.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what this seems like. So I get like your stats not affecting it, but that's why I think it should be dropped because generally a lot of these DC things aren't that high unless you have a maxed out wizard or a sorcerer who high level, and that's when the DCs start getting real high. So yeah, it's interesting.
I like the flavor, and there's definitely great potential there. That's not one of the ones where we just cast off. No, that's just stupid. What are we doing? I like what they had the idea for.
Yeah, and like this being an homage,
Mm-hmm.
I understand like them wanting to have the whirlwind in there and like the extra against the Celestials, Fiends, and Fae, because that's from the story that
Yeah,
this kind of weapon comes from the I think it's a manga, something
and
like that.
and honestly, as a like a legendary weapon along the lines of Staff of the
Mhm.
Archmage and the Vorpal Blade, and it's the one for Paladins that's really good.
I don't recall.
There's
Yeah,
like,
they're
it's I would say if you're running that type of campaign, go for it because everyone's godlike at that point.
oh yeah,
Then you make your martial character equal to some of these stupid spellcasters. That's when you're like, all right, let's have some fun. Let's go.
yeah.
Let's just see. Like in the hammer of thunderbolts, because you have the gauntlets, the giant strength, and all the other stuff going on. There's some crazy stuff that can go
Oh
on,
yeah,
and I'm cool with it.
oh yeah. I just think, I mean, deck saving throws, those are pretty common. I guess at high level 18s, probably not a terrible save to make
Yeah.
because a lot of things get decent pluses to deck saving throws. But I don't know. It seems a little high. The second one from this homage though is the hand cannon,
Okay.
and it is like a prosthetic hand forearm
Okay.
where the as an
That's
action, you
really
can
cool.
lower the wrist of the prosthetic arm and fire a cannonball using the wearer's dex modifier to a single target. It shoots a cannonball. It deals 46 bludgeoning and 46 fire damage. This is apparently only rare, by the way, not like legendary.
It's only rare. Okay.
It's only rare. The affected creature must succeed a DC 16 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. It can't be reloaded until the wearer takes a short rest to do so, and each shot uses a lead cannonball of at least 1 gold piece and 2 gold pieces worth of gunpowder. So each shot's costing you 3 gold.
Okay.
The
no.
range,
Oh no.
I know. The range is 5 feet and disadvantaged up to 15 feet.
Okay.
Interesting.
Any thoughts on that? I have an immediate thought.
What?
You're always disadvantaged.
Yeah, you are.
This is a ranged attack with normal range being 5 feet. You are always disadvantaged.
With like the limited, like you can't reload it for a while. If you had made the range 15 feet, I'd probably say, okay. You get basically one shot. You have, all right, let's go. Playing time is over.
You're doing 8d6 damage with this if you hit.
Fireball.
I know. I'm just. You can crit with this. Fireball, you can't technically crit with.
That's true. But you can do multiple fireballs.
You can. I will say I would probably, with something like this, I would probably make a caveat that you are not disadvantaged at that close of range.
Yeah.
Especially with reading through some of the comments. Apparently, this character pretty much only uses it at melee range in the manga. So it's like, okay, well, not only is it a tribute, but like anything past 5 feet. I mean, you're shooting a cannon out of a prosthetic arm. After that, you're not you're disadvantaged. But that close, like being that close to a cannon going off is probably going to hurt you anyway. Yeah. So like, let's just not give you disadvantage on it. That's fine.
I don't know the actual character that this is referring to.
I don't.
But what I would want to do is my character has this, and I would just want to make a grappler. goes in, can grapple people and just be like, "Oh, hand to chest, boom, you're done."
Lightning lure.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be pretty amusing.
That would be fantastic.
Just be like a brawler. Take magic initiate with wizard so I can get lightning lure.
Yeah.
Just get over here. I am.
That would be a whole lot of fun.
That could be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't outside of that disadvantage thing, which I would just say like, you're just not disadvantaged at 5 feet. It's fine. I like this, especially because like, like 3 gold pieces isn't a lot. It's something. But also like, in some situations, in some worlds, gunpowder may not be a super common thing.
That's true.
So, just finding someone who has gunpowder to stock you with enough to get to the next time, like, it might be like another limiting feature to this in many D&D worlds.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's good.
Yeah. And so the last thing is a homebrew subrace. The Snow Elf.
Okay.
So the Snow Elf, as the subrace trait, gets +1 to Constitution. Okay.
Okay.
You have proficiency with hand axes, short bows, hooked short spear, and a hooked glaive.
So ice picks? Is that what they're going for?
Yeah, I think that's basically what they're going for. Frostborn, due to life in the mountains, you are generally unaffected by colder temperatures and can resist extreme cold. You have resistance to cold damage. You're also acclimated to high altitudes, including elevations above 20,000 feet.
They took that straight from Goliath, so that's fair. That's fine.
Yep.
So far, so good.
Snow sight. Your vision isn't impaired by weather effects such as snow, heavy rain, or mist.
Okay.
That seems a little weird, but okay.
It seems a little weird.
I mean, they touched. You have resistance against charming and stuff, so there's weird stuff.
I wouldn't get rid of that. When we get back to this and start going through it, there's a way I would alter that.
Okay.
So the hooked short spear, which you have access to, is a martial weapon, thrown, tripping, and it's a 1d4 piercing damage. So not super great, but then the hooked glaive, a martial melee weapon, 2-handed, heavy with reach and dismounting, for 1d8 slashing.
Okay.
Yeah.
1d8 for a glaive?
Apparently.
Does it get any other special anything?
Dismounting.
Okay,
So you can pull people off horses and whatnot with it.
In the right setting, that could be really, really useful. Other than that, you're really handicapping yourself.
Yeah, because it's normally a 1d10, isn't it?
Yeah. That's when I would go, this is my horse glaive, this is my normal glaive.
Yeah. So the weapon perks, to go into more detail, because there is actually way more to the dismounting and tripping. Tripping on a hit with this weapon, you may choose to forego damage and instead attempt to trip the target. The target must succeed a strength saving throw that is equal to 8 plus the wielder's strength modifier plus wielder's proficiency bonus or be knocked prone. The target must be no larger than one size larger than the wielder and must have appendages that allow being tripped. I wouldn't forego all damage.
Here's
maybe?
what I would say. You keep that glaive as a normal 1d10 damage.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to do the tripping,
so that's for the short spear. That's not for the
for the short spear.
That's for the short spear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is only 1d4 piercing to begin with.
Yeah. Can you at least keep like your strength modifier damage, or is it?
Not according to this.
Okay.
I was just thinking, like, I don't think short spear is an actual weapon in
No,
D&D.
I don't think so. Pretty sure they call that a javelin.
Right? I mean, I would think instead of foregoing all damage, maybe they take half damage and you trip them, knock them prone. That would be better.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because just knocking someone prone, well, you could basically just do that with a shove. So why do you need this weapon for that? There should be some bonus with that. So there's that. The dismounting. Again, when you hit, you may forego damage on the attack, instead using the weapon to attempt to pull a rider from his mount. The target must make a dex saving throw equal to 8 plus the wielder's strength modifier plus proficiency bonus, or be pulled from their mount and knocked prone. Again, with both these, I think it's just the same complaint that you have to forego all.
What if you added,
damage.
like, you forego the attack damage, but then they take bludgeoning damage from falling off their horse? That's maybe less.
Yeah, like 1d6 damage from the fall.
Yeah.
Because it's not a very high fall, and that's what you use for fall damage. That wouldn't be bad. For that one, I would see that.
Even if you just wanted to do D4 is like a like an improvised weapon damage. Is the ground hits him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to forego damage, they're still falling off something, and they're going to be, like, likely not landing on their feet. So,
and ask any equestrian, falling off a horse does not feel good.
Yeah.
I would assume not.
Yeah.
Especially
if you're riding at any bit of speed.
Right. I've fallen off stationary things with less height, and those didn't feel good, so I would assume falling off a horse does not feel good.
Yeah.
I've fallen out of a chair that I was sitting in and got a concussion, so I understand that falling from something is sometimes painful.
Yeah. I've fallen off things much higher than that.
I like how Alex is just is just like almost shaming me for that. For the record, I was already unconscious, and I hit a desk on my way down with my head.
Hence the concussion.
Alex, don't judge me.
Too
That
late.
was like my 4th concussion. After every time you get a concussion, it's easier to get one after that.
I swear we just need to put you in a helmet. A special helmet now.
Yeah, probably. Or not. The brain's already mush. Not much more to lose. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's. So, the snow site. I, like, reading, I was like, oh, you, like, your vision is impaired by the effects of snow. Makes sense. Heavy rain. Mist. What?
I missed.
Hold on, mist?
There's not a lot of mist in mountains.
I was like, maybe if we're talking, like, because a cloud is coming through, that's mist?
They just say fog then.
Right. But I was like, mist, and I was like, okay. Well, I know different weather conditions in 5th edition can give different, like, effects. And I was thinking maybe you just kind of, like, lessen how bad it is, because, like, rain and heavy rain are 2 separate things.
Yeah.
Like, blizzard and snow is different. So I like maybe like you reduce like the visibility things from blizzard to just be as if it was snow, and snow as if it's nothing. Those kinds of things maybe. because like with snow, unpleasant to travel in, all your speed is halved. If snow occurs for 2 days in a row, all terrain is difficult terrain and wagon travel is impossible until one day without snow passes. It also has the effects of heavy clouds and freezing cold, replaced with rain when with climates without snow. Heavy clouds block out.
Yeah.
Like have total cover, all that. So like lessen that to not be as effective, but don't just like ignore some of it. Like so like heavy rain, like come on. You're a snow elf.
Mm-hmm.
High in the mountains. Not lots of heavy rain up in the mountains.
Yeah, you're not dealing with that.
Snow,
especially with the name Snow Elf.
Right. Snow, I get it. Rain, go. You don't belong here. Mist, also, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's dumb.
Seems a little...
Yeah. Seems a little much. But that's how I would just lessen the effects of snow, because it's not even just it's like vision is impaired, so like I would just lessen the effects of that. Like everyone else is having a hard time, you're not. And it's a blizzard. Okay, you just have like the effects of what snow would be for everyone else, because like you're used to this. But I wouldn't touch heavy rain and mist. That's it.
Yeah.
I just, as soon as I heard snow elfing, I'm like, oh, just please don't try to like make it like the Falmer from Elder Scrolls. I was just waiting for something in there.
I mean, that's fair. That's very fair. Even though I would love to see snow elves in Elder Scrolls that aren't Falmor.
You've seen one.
Correct. I want to. In Elder Scrolls 6, whatever it may be, whenever it comes out, in whatever decade, God willing, it's... Huh?
We're 10 years removed from Skyrim.
Indeed. I would find it interesting if there was, like, not just a single snow elf, but, like, a group of snow elves, a village, or something of snow elves. Probably not a huge empire, just something of snow elves that did not make the deal with the Dwemer.
Yeah.
And survived. So, personally. So that's the homebrew stuff. Now I did get this wonderful, wonderful book.
Officially came in. Very
It
nice.
officially came in. And there's a lot in the book. I don't want to cover lots. But there are 2 subclasses I think touching on would be good. So, the College of Spirits for the Bard.
Let's save this one for next time because we're already
Okay.
over an hour in and we still have to do the main segment. This is a good thing for next time.
Okay. The Bard gets to do seances.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
I like it. All right. Speaking of not bards and not seances, we are going to be going over our favorite spells from the Cleric.
Well, isn't Commune just a Cleric seance?
With more actual usefulness than a fake seance from the real one.
The Bard seances work. They're real.
All right. So, going into this one, we're going to go from Cantrip to level 9 favorite Cleric. Spells.
See.
And say
That's
there's
for our
few
Spanish
that we all... Yes, thank you. Few that we have agreed on, and we're going to do that. We might mention an honorable mention, but we will let you know if there's one we agree on, or there's so few spells in that level that we're just like, yeah, it's this one. Let's just be honest here. So we're not saying all of them. Yeah.
Level.
Yeah.
where there are only 4 spells.
The Redheaded Stepchild of all spell levels is 8th
It
level.
really is.
Alright, starting at Cantrips, what is everyone's favorite, best cleric cantrip?
Spare the Dying.
Yep.
Also agree, but I'm going to throw the honorable mention to Thaumaturgy, because like Prestidigitation, it only limit is your imagination.
Also, with Thaumaturgy, you can Thaumaturgy every door to see if it's locked or not.
That is true. I used it as we were trying to scare an entire port into thinking we're under attack from lizard people. So I Thaumaturgy the lizard folk Haka to send pandemonium, and then we crashed a armed ship full of explosives into the port. While we cast mist, and I used gust of wind to push both the mist and the boat with the sails into
Fantastic.
it was one of the most epic moments I could have, thanks to a cantrip.
Yeah. So Spare the Dying is stupidly wonderful, though.
It is, especially as a cantrip.
So, technically, probably not allowed. Definitely had a DM who could have been on this podcast that let me immediately use Spare the Dying on an enemy who tried committing suicide to keep him alive because he didn't want to be captured. And I was like, no.
I did that in the if you go back in the channel records and the previous live stream, I did that to someone else, and then I figured out I could also get rid of the poison, but that took a while.
Spare the Dying. If you happen to be the DM's worst nightmare, known as a Grave Cleric, you can do Spare the Dying at range as a bonus action.
Yeah.
So nobody dies. Nobody's allowed to die with a Grave Cleric on board.
Just think about it. Yeah, no, I mean it's fantastic. Yeah, Thaumaturgy, wonderfully useful utility spell. That yes, in a game me and Alex are in, I literally used it on every door to see if it was locked or not. Cause I figured the DM wouldn't give us traps as like 3rd level, and I was right. I was just like, everyone just stand away from the door. Thaumaturgy. Yeah, it's unlocked.
Woo! Let's go!
Let's do this through the whole dungeon. All right. Moving on to level 1.
Yes.
Do we all agree on this one? I think we should all agree on this one.
Healing Word, but I will give 2 honorable mentions. Healing Word, just because you can people are down, put them up, and you can keep going.
It's range. It's a bonus action.
A bonus action.
It's very, very good.
On my spellbook app, it's literally on all of the characters I have on here.
Yep. My honorable mentions include Inflict Wounds, because 3d10 necrotic damage at 1st level is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's great.
That is, you're the tank. You were the damage dealing blaster until a couple more levels as those sort of characters level up, because early levels you gotta beat. And I'm also going to throw Command in there, because it seems very simple, but you can do a lot of things with that, especially with someone with creativity.
Mm-hmm.
You can do just that one word can help a lot. So it's one of those that I like to have that one just when I need to do it.
Indeed. All great honorable mentions.
Yes.
But the star, and I think just about everyone agrees, is Healing Word.
Healing Word. Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone. That's
range, bonus action for heals. Like, it's ridiculous. So we can move on to 2nd level.
Yes, we can.
I know at least one other person agrees with me. I don't remember who. Might be Peter.
I think we all agree the spiritual weapon is amazing.
Okay, so we all agree spiritual weapon is great.
So,
Yeah, that was on my list.
Did you have an honorable mention for this?
I have 2 again on this one because there's 3 of us. That it's good. 8, because you don't give temporary hit points. You increase your hit point maximum for 8 hours. So healing, those can be replenished for say you're going into a dungeon, you can get those healed up as you do that. Even with short rests, you can heal up those maximum hit points.
Yeah.
And Zone of Truth. Because that seems very useful.
Zone of Truth, especially when you're doing some RP.
Yeah.
Super helpful.
Yes.
Super helpful.
It's one of those that you should have someone in your party should have one, hopefully, if you have multiple casters. Just because you never know when you might need to bring it out. Especially if you're in a mainly good party and you don't have that one person, i.e. one of my characters, to do the dirty work when someone needs to be questioned.
One of your good characters who just forgets that he's good for a hot minute.
No.
You've done that with your paladin.
Okay, that was one time, and then I changed it, and I felt bad. It's when I was still figuring it out, and I was still getting used to being good, okay?
Like, fucking murders the guy! Unarmed person, he's just like, well, you're bad. Slash, like, what are you doing?
And then last week, it was one of the people that I want vengeance on, so it's fine. It's a get out of good free card, it's fine. I can do it. I can cut off limbs and torture him if I want to. You took off a guy's
leg doing that.
I did.
Then we left him in a hole. I didn't mind leaving him in a hole, to be honest. But
he called my bluff, so I'm not going to let this cultist punk me out. If you don't do this, I'm going to cut your leg off. Oh, you wouldn't? Okay, fine. Let's go.
I don't think you can really say he called your bluff, for it was not a bluff.
No.
He attempted to call your bluff.
He attempted to call your bluff.
He did not call your bluff. The paladin was. He forgot what type of paladin I was.
He did not know. He was like, oh, shiny holy people. I'll be fine.
No, he's angry shiny holy person is what I am.
I mean, to be fair, I had a scroll of fireball. I just like handed it to the wizard, like, use this. Let's start this battle off right. Use this.
He did crisp a lot of them.
He crisped a lot of them. Yeah.
But, all right. I mean, what are your favorites before I throw my animal mentions in?
For level 3?
3.
I had Aura of Vitality. Because this one it's a concentration spell, lasts up to a minute, but then you can heal on your turn as a bonus action. You can just 2d6 heal anybody in range. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's another helpful one that, like, you just cast one spell and then you can heal multiple people as long as you're concentrating. So, as long as, like, they're close enough to you. So, that's not always going to be helpful, but I think that, you know, it has a lot of use, especially early on.
Yeah. Yes. You went positive for the party. I went negative towards the enemy with Bestow Curse.
Good one.
One, because if you and your party strategize a little bit beforehand and you know what ability scores the enemy will have to make a lot of saving throws with, you can choose that one ability, and while cursed, the target has disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws made with that ability. Also, disadvantage against attacks against you.
Yep.
Also, it has to make a wisdom saving throw at the start of its turn, or if it fails, it wastes its turn doing nothing. Also, while it's cursed, your attacks deal an extra 1d8 necrotic damage. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty effective.
It's pretty effective. I mean, a remove curse spell ends it. And yeah, that's about it.
Other than that, does it ever end? Is it a concentration?
It's a concentration, 1 minute.
Okay.
But 10 rounds of combat, if an enemy is being focused on and alive for 10 rounds of combat, the party has done something horribly wrong, or the dice are just not with you.
Nat ones all around.
Basically, because at that point, like, there's a chance, I mean, especially with, like, a decently leveled or decently statted cleric, like the saving throw, the wisdom saving throw, or it just does nothing on its turn. Like, not even a dodge action, nothing. It's just going to be like,
oh, yeah.
So, ridiculous. At higher levels, you can't extend it, though. If you cast it at 4th level, it's 10 minutes. 5th level, 8 hours. 7th level, a day.
Jeez.
9th level until it's dispelled.
That's nice.
Using a spell slot of 5th level or higher also grants a duration that doesn't require concentration.
Which is, yes. I like how there's actual level scaling with that, so it's actually worth upcasting, where a lot of spells are not worth upcasting.
Yeah.
So, going into my pick, I have 2 audible mentions, as I think it's going to happen with a lot of these, because I like clerics. I played a number of them, so because there's many that go in the flavor of cleric that you're doing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can go in there. But I'm actually picking Spirit Guardians.
Spirit
That's
Guardians.
my pick, especially earlier levels when you can get it, and when you're in a fight, if you're going to be that tank for the group, which some clerics can be, you get a lot of extra damage. You can battlefield control a good, nice 15-foot radius around you, especially through the choke point of just creatures will take a lot of damage around you, and it's just very, very useful. My honorable mentions are Revivify. I mean, it's known as the cleric tax for a reason, because most parties for the cleric are going to be make them take Revivify as one of their spells. They have.
I also had a Revivify as an honorable mention.
Yep.
I just didn't mention it because I'm pretty sure I mentioned it last week. So
And then
you have no honor.
And then I'm also picking Animate Dead.
So if you're not playing a normal cleric,
If you're not playing
just a grave cleric, Animate Dead.
Animate Dead. So because action economy, good stuff. Animate Dead is fun.
Good cleric, and the guy who chose Animate Dead. We all know that.
I'm a dark edgy necromancer.
I have played a grave cleric before, so.
I know.
All right, moving on to level 4.
Peter, you want to go first this time?
Death Ward.
I agree.
Because, I mean, if anyone has listened to any of our conversations of my characters tend to die. And so I am a big fan of,
I just saw a cat.
Not having to die. Like, you touch a creature and grant it protection from death. So that
For like 8 hours.
For 8 hours. Like, if they drop to 0, they bounce back to 1. There you go.
And if the spell is still in effect and the target is just subjugated to an effect that would kill it, like power word kill, nah.
Yeah, it's unconscious, but not dead.
Yep.
That's nice.
It's
That's
just like
very nice.
It's very, very helpful. And usually playing characters that die a lot, I'm a fan.
Neat. I also like the idea of matching that up with a half orc just to spite a DM a little bit, giving them death ward, having an enemy hit like 0 hit points. And you're like, death ward. He's like, fine. Next turn, I hit you again. No, again. But now the half orc ability.
I feel that idea that you came up was specifically you going, what bullshit could Alex do against me?
Why are you guys never meeting a cleric ever again in game? This is why.
And my pick for that was actually Banishment, because I think it's very, very powerful and really cool. That the only thing saving whatever you're able to cast this upon from being banished to a random plane of existence, its native one, if it is from another one, or just, a different plane of existence, is a charisma saving throw. That's it.
I talk good. Hey.
Yeah, that it's not forever. Like that's say spells before. So if the spell ends before it's over, the target can come back. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to concentrate for a minute. But you're just able to go, okay, that's fine. Gone. Wait a minute, and they're gone. Goodbye.
Yeah. At least in the meantime, even if you don't successfully get it for the whole minute, like it reduces the action economy on the enemy side of the battle.
Yeah. Which is
pretty solid.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. Cool. Are we on 5th level now?
Yes, we are.
Cool. I chose Hallow.
Yep.
Because it does a lot, and it's just great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
60-foot radius, or up to a 60-foot radius, which is huge. It's no celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead can enter, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, possess creatures within it. Any creature charmed, frightened, or possessed by such creature is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed upon entering the area. You can exclude one or more types of creatures from this effect, assuming you also, like, you have summon elemental or something like that, and someone else casts that, and you're just like, no, the elementals can totally be here. No big deal.
Yep.
Also lets you choose a second effect. You can choose who that applies to. There's a crap ton. I'm not going to go through them. There's so many that you can choose that are just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a great spell.
Yeah. I have one and then an honorable mention. So the one that I picked was Raise Dead. It's kind of Resurrection's crappier lower level brother.
I mean,
like, it works. It does what it needs to do, but it doesn't like heal everything. So, like, you know, if you're missing pieces, it's not gonna bring it back. You're just like coming back from the dead. So if like you're stabbed through the gut, that's not gonna heal that. You better fix that before you try to bring this guy back to life. So there's lots of caveats to it, but it's a 5th level spell, and you can bring someone back from the dead who's been dead for, you know, I think it's 10 days. 10 days. So like it's not like, you know, what was like Spare the Dying, where it's like right there, or Revivify, which is like within like a minute, I think. So it's like it gives you a span, so it's helpful, but like you better plan ahead before you use this thing, because you may just waste it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he got his intestines pulled out. Yeah, it's gonna fail. Like, he's gonna die.
Split, and he's like, I'm alive.
Yeah, like it explicitly says, like, if the creature's lacking body parts or organs integral for its survival, its head, for instance, the spell automatically fails. It's like, I don't know why you would need to mention it.
At least it doesn't succeed and then immediately dies again. Just to torture it.
But it's just kind of funny where it's like, and it doesn't work on the undead, obviously. But that's and another interesting thing is, you start with a -4 penalty to basically all your rolls, which it goes away slowly after each long rest.
But I'm not surprised. If I was dead for 10 days too, I feel like I'd be
and so like as I said, it's Resurrection's crappier younger brother. It works, but it doesn't do everything.
This is the Walmart version of Resurrection.
Yeah. The other one that I wanted to just quickly mention was Holy Weapon, for the very simple reason of we have a barbarian who his weapon was not enchanted, and he was going up against creatures that needed magical damage. If you had Holy Weapon, you could just be like, your weapon now does magical damage. You're welcome. So, I mean, it does some other things, but
outside of the other things, just for that reason, that's just why you have a Forge Cleric, because they can just do that to one thing after your long rest.
Yes, right.
And we spite Alex's girlfriend with that. Oh, it's resistant against bludgeon, slash, and piercing damage, unless by magical means. Alex's magic. I made his magic.
Surprise! It's magic. You can't do anything. It's magic. Since my pick was Hallow as well, I had 2 honorable mentions. One was Greater Restoration, because it can remove a curse.
Yes.
That's incredibly useful, especially depending on the campaign you're running.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is Scrying.
Yeah.
Depending on the campaign you're using, utility, knowing where that can be super useful.
I mean, just
and it depends on the DM you have.
Information gathering abilities of scrying, it's fantastic.
And if you all don't have a divination wizard, having scrying, a character have scrying is very useful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Going on.
So we're on to level 6 now.
6.
Peter, I think we went separate directions with this one again.
Yes, we went exact opposites.
All 3 of us went in very different directions for this one.
Yeah, so I went heal.
Yeah, I went harm.
Yeah.
I went utility.
Yeah, so I went heal because it's ranged. It's another ranged healing spell. And it's just 70 hit points. No questions, no rolls. That's it. 70. And it also ends blindness or deafness or any disease affecting the target. So
yeah, that's great.
If you cast it higher, it can increase the healing by 10, but that's not a big deal, but as much. Yeah. But 70 right off the bat, very helpful.
So, I, not wanting to heal people but harm them in this game, went with harm because con saving throw, 14d6 damage, but also, I mean, so it can't kill anything. It will take them down to 1 damage, but it won't go below 1, or 1 hit point, but won't go below 1. But if they fail to save that throw, for the next hour, their maximum hit points are lowered by that amount. So unless they do something to remove the disease, or any effect that removes a disease allows a creature's hit point maximum to return to normal before the time passes. But anything short of that, so if they're just trying to healing word, cure wounds, things like that, no, you don't have those hit points right now. I changed your max, and that's stupidly helpful.
Yep. Okay. I went in there with Forbiddance. This is a really good one if you're setting up a base of operations and you know you're going to be attacked at some point. It's a bit more niche, but being a cleric, you can prepare spells every day, so you can afford to have a niche depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to prevent creatures from being summoned in from different planes of existence, or portals, which is really, really good. Especially if you know you're fighting magic users who will try to do this shit, as Jim tried to do to us.
What you're talking about? Never happened. Not happening right now.
And the other one that is very good is the fact that you can name a type of enemy, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead, that will take 5d10 or radiant or necrotic damage the first time when it starts its turn there in a 40,000 square foot area. It takes 10 minutes to cast. But you essentially, if you know there's an evil necromancer coming in to assault your town, you cast this, his minions are now done.
They're dying the minute they enter the gate.
Every 6 seconds, they take 5d10 radiant damage, which is actually 10d10 radiant damage because it's doubled.
Potentially.
It could be very, very useful depending on what you're doing.
Indeed.
All right, moving on.
I'm just thinking how I'm going to get around this when you inevitably find a way to get this. It's called the spell magic. I use it a lot.
True. You did mention it as one of your favorite spells last week.
Yes, I did.
Like I said, it can be niche. Let me see. Is there anything with weapons that? It does cost a lot with that, which can be annoying.
Mm-hmm. Thrilling.
Yep.
Thrilling.
Okay, fine. I'm looking, and let's go. Next one.
Oh, I had an honorable mention.
Oh, good.
Word of Recall.
Okay.
You and up to 5 willing creatures teleport to a previously designated sanctuary. You just appear in the nearest unoccupied space in that sanctuary. Fantastic, because no range on that, no somatic components, no material components, only vocal, and medieval fantasy. Say you're in a town with a castle and you have access to it. Many castles have private shrines and sanctuaries and places of worship, chapels, and all you have to do is cast this spell in that place to designate it as your sanctuary, as long as it's linked to your deity, and that's your sanctuary. So, oh no, we need to get out of here. Poof, I'm back in a castle. Good luck getting me now. Or just a major town's temple, right? Like, you're just back. Unlike teleportation, there's no rolls. It can't mess up.
Yeah.
If you set it up properly, you're there.
Yeah. It is a perfect. I need to get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
And it works great.
That's we're leaving. Let's go. Like, come over here. I'm leaving you behind.
Out of here. Bye.
This shit, I'm out. We need to get out.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
That's exactly it.
So 7th level.
Yes.
Because I prefer spells that don't have such penalties like Raise Dead, I chose Resurrection.
Yep.
That was
one.
mine too. That was.
Did we agree on that one totally?
Because I picked Resurrection last week, I actually went with something different.
Okay.
I picked Divine Word. So you utter a divine word imbued with power and choose any number of creatures you can see within range. Each creature that can hear you, and this is 30 feet, must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, a creature suffers an effect based on its current hit points. So 50 hit points or fewer, it's deafened for a minute. 40 hit points or fewer, it's deafened and blind for 10 minutes. 30 hit points or fewer, it's blinded, deafened, and stunned for an hour. If it's got 20 hit points or less, it's killed instantly. So, and regardless of its current hit points, a celestial, elemental, fae, or fiend that fails its save is forced back into its plane of origin if it isn't there already, and can't return to your current plane for 24 hours by any means short of a wish spell. So, pretty effective.
And speaking of banishing, my honorable mention on that was Plane Shift, just because it's fun.
Yeah.
And so when I banish one of his friends, he can go get them back.
Which, or he banishes me. Because he's
More
tired
likely.
of my shit, and then I come back, and he now has to deal with me again.
Yes, but only after I've killed the rest of your party.
That seems about right.
Well, I'll die first. No big deal.
Right.
Indeed.
Now for the Redheaded Stepchild.
Yep.
8th level.
Yep.
Anti-magic field? Everyone?
I chose anti-magic field.
I picked
Peter,
Sunburst just to be different.
You rebel.
Yep.
But anti-magic field creates a field of anti-magic.
Yeah, magic can't enter. Pretty damn great.
Yep.
And going on to 9th level.
Yep.
We're not mentioning Sunburst at all?
12d6
radiant damage?
That's up to you. That's your spell.
That's your spell.
So, Sunburst does... It's 60 feet. It's a 60-foot radius centered on a point that's within 150 feet of you. And they have to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, they take 12d6 radiant damage, and they're blinded for a minute. On an unsuccessful save, they take half damage, and they're not blinded. So, pretty heavy damage. So, yes, anti-magic is more useful, I suppose, but I just was like, oh look, a damage spell at high level. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, you know how you don't have to worry about Sunburst?
Anti-magic field.
Anti-magic field. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what it is. And 9th level, I went with Mass Heal.
Mass Heal.
700 hit points. You can divide up as you wish.
Yeah, I have
no components.
I have an honorable mention, but that was my main choice.
Yeah.
Was
also no components.
Yeah.
No
it's
components.
Just so great.
Yep. And creatures healed by this are also cured of all disease and any effect making them blind or deafened. Shocker, it doesn't work on undead or constructs. Duh. We don't care about that.
Bullshit.
But it's just like the ultimate. You're fixed. Go forth and do more damage. Like you're totally fine.
700 hit points is so many.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hit points.
A party of 4 or 5, that's more than you need for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you could heal some NPCs that are friendly nearby.
just to spite the person you're taking down, you give them 1 hit point just to make them feel good. So
you just sit there like, oh, you want to do this? No. This could be good in like more of a battlefield situation to help a lot of people that might be in there, but
also versus a BBG that has taken your tank down 100 hit points and everyone else down who is much squishier, like 70 or 80 hit points. Everyone's like, this is starting to hurt real bad. And you're like, never mind. You're all good. You're all fine.
Yeah, everybody's okay. We're all good.
I have one word. Ow!
That was the one word.
I wasn't lying.
You weren't lying. That was the one word.
So, I also have as an honorable mention, True Resurrection.
Which I could have picked if it wasn't for the components.
Yeah, the components are insane. It's like, oh, sprinkle of holy water. Oh, okay. And then diamonds worth at least 25,000 gold pieces. Like, that's a lot. This is insane.
Even for adventuring parties, that's a lot.
Yeah. However, you touch a creature that has been dead for no longer than 200 years. You can bring someone back who's been dead that long. It restores the creature to full hit points. I mean, of course, it's the caveat of it has to be willing, but the spell closes all wounds, neutralizes any poison, cures all diseases, and lifts any curses. It replaces damaged or missing organs and limbs if the creature was undead, is restored to its non-undead form. And the spell can even provide a new body if the original no longer exists, in which case you must speak the creature's name. The creature then appears in an unoccupied space you choose within 10 feet of you. So you, like, if someone's been disintegrated, like, you know that they got vaporized by a dragon 200 years ago, you could just like, oh, I want this hero from the past back. There they are.
If I had a mine with a lot of diamonds, it'd be fun to just be like, you're gonna be alive now.
Like, it's cost
just randomly
prohibitive.
Resurrects people.
Yeah, it's cost prohibitive to use, but holy cow, you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a lot of diamonds, though.
It would.
No, it's absolutely insane, and that's why it's like what it is. But it's just kind of...
It's why it's a 9th level spell.
Why it's a 9th level spell, and it's freaking 200 years, and basically just brings you back to, like, prime health. So, like...
I can only imagine the most procrastinating elf cleric who's like, oh, my friend died. I'm going to resurrect them. It's been 100 years. Yeah, I still got, like, 75 more years, so I really have to worry. Like, it's fine. He just buys a diamond every now and then. It's like, I'm building up, don't worry.
And then finally, when he does it, his friend is just like, what the hell, man? You took freaking forever.
You took 199 years to do this. What the shit, man?
No,
I was getting to it.
The deadline was next week. You were cutting it kind of close.
But it happened. It worked. You're here.
You're alive again, aren't you?
Yeah.
Bastard. My favorite is, thank you. Stab.
Use true resurrection on yourself now.
Who's the biatch now?
I get up there. I'm like, oh yeah, life is fleeting. Just kill yourself. Existence is pain, Jerry.
I thought I wanted to come back. Now that I'm back, I realize how stupid a mortal body is.
A message from the Lord. You owe 199 years of back taxes. Nope.
I'm not doing this. No.
Death Lord. God damn it! You bastard!
This spirit guy, and you just kind of like, no! Also, hey, your mortgage is overdue. Oh, shit.
I was dead. What do you want me to do about it? Where's my life insurance policy I bought?
It was cashed in by your family and wasted. They bought a cart full of cheese. Expensive cheese. What?
Why?
Acceptable? Acceptable. That's okay. I would have done the same.
Now I know who never to make a beneficiary of anything of mine. Like, looking down from heaven, like, what's Alex doing with this stuff I left him? He bought cheese. I should have seen this coming.
Yep.
At least there was a bottle of bourbon in there. Yeah. Made a charcuterie board with some of it. Okay, fine.
And I made the board that is the Pillars of Oppression.
Oh my god. The listeners don't understand that. We have a Minotaur who takes his bovine heritage very serious and has pillars of oppression of how humanoids have oppressed cows.
And this all started when we went shopping and we wanted to get a charcuterie board because we were being numbskulls like that. Because we were getting that specific and fancy.
Which also, not a lot of beef on a charcuterie board. Just throwing it out there.
There's not.
Like, no beef at all.
He just wanted to be offended. He was that one guy on Twitter that just wants to be offended over everything.
Yep. It's it annoyed his wife though, so I guess it worked.
It was funny.
It was a good time.
All right. Say, does anyone have any closing remarks on our covering of our favorite spells of the Cleric?
Nope. We're perfect with our spell choices. Anyone who disagrees is crap. Go away. Kidding.
All right.
But I do live off your hate, so please send it.
I'll our drinks for tonight.
Straight rye. Pretty good. Honestly, it's the first thing I tried from Middle West Spirits. It was pretty delicious. Did not lie when it said smooth and full bodied. So plus small batch craft.
The Glenfiddich 12 is pretty solid choice all the time. Nice and smooth and peaty, which I know everyone thinks is hilarious that I say that, but that's the correct description for it. So
it has this earthy smokiness that I'm not saying it.
What's another word you use for that?
What do they use to get that smokiness, Peter?
Yeah. Even if I try to say it another way, it won't freaking matter, so I'm just gonna say it.
How did they get it? Salt, Peter. Why are you
okay, Petey? Petey, you did make a good choice on your alcohol. So,
hey, and going to this Calumet farm, very small batch, 14 years old. If you can find a way to get your hands on this, and I don't even know the exact price because it was a present, but it is delicious.
Well, if I get it, it's going to be free because I'm going to drive to your house and steal it.
Right. So, get a lock.
Kidding.
Right.
Maybe.
But yes, this was whatever episode we are of the Drunken Dice podcast. Next week we will be...
Are we really on 6?
Is it? Wow. Say next week we will be going over the Druid spells. I have never played a Druid, so this will be interesting.
I built one. Haven't played him yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a forever DM. I haven't played most of these. I just get to suffer the effects.
Fair.
That is true. All right, everyone. Thank you for all who suffered through this podcast with us, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Bye.